Welcome back to The Breakdown with me, NLW. It's a daily podcast on macro, Bitcoin, and the big picture power shifts remaking our world. What's going on, guys? It is Sunday, September 15th, and that means it's time for Long Read Sunday. Before we get into that, however, if you are enjoying The Breakdown, please go subscribe to it, give it a rating, give it a review, or if you want to dive deeper into the conversation, come join us on the Breakers Discord. You can find a link in the show notes or go to bit.ly/breakdownpod. All right, friends, today we are reading a good one by Adrian Brink, published by Blockworks, called Without Decentralization, Our Data Will Never Be Safe. As normal, we will listen to the reading and then come back and have a discussion. Note that today this is being read by my AI avatar clone from 11 Labs, so if there is any weirdness, that's why. The world's digital infrastructure is under siege, and the only way to protect it is by building conflict-resistant systems. Recent high-profile breaches, such as the theft of every American Social Security number, have exposed a fundamental flaw in how we store and protect data. At present, we are leaving ourselves open to catastrophic, wide-scale disruptions in the face of growing threats. We must urgently transition to resilient, decentralized technologies that can safeguard our critical information in an increasingly hostile digital landscape. Recent reports that hackers have stolen every American Social Security number, along with high-profile breaches at AT&T and OKTA, have made it abundantly clear that our digital infrastructure is alarmingly vulnerable. These incidents aren't isolated. They're symptomatic of a broader systemic weakness in how we approach digital security and data storage. The challenge of securing our digital world is one of the most pressing issues of our time, and the solution lies in developing conflict-resistant digital infrastructure. The manner in which these recent hacks were carried out reveals a troubling pattern and underscores the urgent need for system design changes that can both disincentivize and defend against such attacks in the future. Whether the attacker is a lone wolf, a small syndicate, or a nation-state actor, the end result is the same: widespread disruption and potentially catastrophic consequences. The focus must shift from who is attacking to how we can build more resilient systems that protect against all threats, regardless of their source. The main reason attackers were able to access vast amounts of user data is because it was all stored in a single, central database. This approach is no longer just careless, it's outright dangerous. Relying on such vulnerable methods for data storage risks catastrophic outcomes, especially during times of conflict when these systems become prime targets for attacks. With the exponential rise in tools like generative AI that enhance even individual actors' abilities to exploit systems, it's crucial that we begin repairing and future-proofing these systems before they become untenable. AI doesn't fundamentally alter the nature of security threats, but it significantly amplifies existing vulnerabilities, particularly by compromising the entire Know Your Customer stack. The 7th annual Hacker-Powered Security Report revealed that 53% of ethical hackers are already using generative AI, which highlights how this technology can be leveraged to bypass established security protocols. The potential ramifications are alarming. As AI advances, it could soon render unreliable traditional verification methods, such as voice or facial recognition. This disruption serves as a stark reminder that our security frameworks need to evolve in parallel with these emerging technologies. Beyond new innovations in disruptive technology, traditional malware such as viruses, ransomware, and spyware continue to pose significant threats. Ransomware, where hackers encrypt victims' data and demand payment for the decryption key, remains particularly problematic for both individuals and institutions. Enabled by phishing scams and other deceptive tactics, hackers have found considerable success with these traditional methods, and their power will only grow with the new tools emerging from the ongoing AI boom. The answer to these growing threats lies in truly resilient technology. Resilient technology refers to systems that enable private, autonomous, and capture-resistant communication, organization, and transactions. It also ensures the protection and preservation of individual identity, actions and ownership. Decentralization and sovereignty, both at the individual and community levels, are essential to resilient technology. These elements ensure that functionality and autonomy persist even during network disruptions or cyber attacks. Hello, friends. Before we get back to the rest of the show, I want to implore you to join me at Permissionless. Permissionless is the conference for crypto natives by crypto natives, and the reason it's so important this year is that despite regulators' best attempts to push industry founders, devs, and executives out of the US, the United States remains the beating heart of crypto. Today, the tide is turning. Policymakers have pivoted from fighting crypto to embracing it. Literally now we are in a major political party's platform, which will lead ultimately to the creation of new financial products, new applications, and ultimately new adoption. Permissionless is the conference for those using and building on-chain products. It's home to the power users, the devs, and the builders. And perhaps more importantly, I will be there. The location is Salt Lake City, the dates are October 9th to the 11th, and tickets are just $499. If you want to get 10% off, use code BREAKDOWN10. Go to the Blockworks website, blockworks.co. There will be links to register for the conference, and again, you can use code BREAKDOWN10 to get 10% off. Hackers are as bold and brazen as ever despite the legal risks and severe punishments because the potential rewards are enormous and the targets are often inadequately protected. Consider the Social Security database as an example. If a hacker or group of hackers manages to breach that single database, they gain access to the most critical piece of identity for the entire American population. The potential black market value of this data is staggering. If the estimated $4 value per Social Security number holds true, accessing the numbers of all 333 million Americans could yield a potential value of over $1 billion in stolen data. The entire incentive for such a heist could be mitigated simply by decentralizing the storage of data. The task becomes much more arduous, and the trail of clues left behind significantly longer if each SSN is stored separately and must be procured individually. $4 per piece is far less attractive than a cache of data worth over $1 billion. Additionally, zero-knowledge proofs, ZKPs, and shielding technology are emerging as extremely powerful tools in securing the digital world and protecting sensitive data. These advanced cryptographic methods enable the verification of information without revealing the underlying data itself, which would allow for secure interoperability between private institutions and larger public systems. The implementation of ZKPs allows organizations to minimize data exposure, enhance authentication processes, and secure transactions without compromising functionality or user experience. Along with other critical components, such as encryption, secure enclaves, and network segmentation, shielding technology offers the means to create robust defense systems against unauthorized access and data theft. Innovation in encryption methods is also providing powerful new tools in the fight for data protection and system security. Specifically, homomorphic encryption, which allows computations to be performed on encrypted data without decrypting it first, is a highly promising development. This technology, alongside privacy and shielding methods, is crucial for securing individual and institutional data and for national defense. It is in a nation's best interest to ensure that its citizens' data is shielded from adversaries, as exposure could lead to targeted attacks and broader security risks. Protecting sensitive information is vital to maintaining sovereignty and security in an increasingly digital and interconnected world. There is a common thread among the tools that build resilient technology: the ability to protect information, uphold security for users and institutions, and ensure sovereignty over critical data and systems. The digital and physical world is becoming more complex and chaotic. However, we have yet to truly experience the level of disruption that a global conflict would bring. In an interconnected digital world, creating chaos-resistant systems is essential to protecting the infrastructure we all rely on. It is of vital importance that we strengthen these systems now before it's too late. All right, back to NLW here. Big thanks to Adrian for this, a great piece. I think hugely resonant and deeply emotionally resonant for many of you listeners probably. And the one additional dimension I wanted to bring to this is actually just connecting the dots between my two podcasts, the Crypto Bitcoin on one side and AI on the other. The piece did get into how generative AI is changing the nature of security, how voice and facial recognition make certain types of verification methods unreliable, and how that means that security frameworks are going to need to evolve. But there's also another piece of this that I think is worth noting, which is that our relationship with our own data is likely to get even more front and center in the AI era. Right now, AI entrepreneurs are racing to build applications that can do more stuff for us. We are sort of in the assistant age of AI, where it's copilots and chatbots, but we're heading headlong into the agent era, where AIs can actually do things on our behalf. The personalization that is required for the AI agent era comes from our data. And a lot of the things that are enabling or will enable this era involve a different relationship with data. For example, Microsoft is rolling out a feature that takes a screenshot of your desktop every few seconds in order to have perfect search and recall across your entire computing experience. That is a totally different amount of and type of data that we're going to have to reconcile. Now, the benefits of being able to access that are numerous in terms of the applications they enable, but it is not without challenge. The good news, I think, is that in addition to creating new challenges around data, this era of AI is also creating a new urgency. As many have noted, this is genuinely an area where blockchain and the larger crypto industry has something extremely meaningful to offer in terms of a different approach, a different philosophy, and a different technological paradigm. It has become cheesy and usually nothing more than a sales pitch to connect the dots between blockchain and AI. But when it comes to thinking differently about data, privacy, and decentralization, that connection and what blockchain has to offer to AI is very, very real. That's going to do it for today's breakdown. Appreciate you listening as always. And until next time, be safe and take care of each other. Peace.